football. He has on the Shuttlesworth. And did it right. Michigan touchdown. Touchdown, really cares.
Shoelaces dropping in the wind.
We shy away from no challenge or opponent. We bow to no man. We bow to no program. We are Michigan.
This podcast is brought to you by JMC Sports in Metamora, Michigan, your destination for authentic sports memorabilia, cards, and collectibles for every fan. Check them out in-store or online at jmcgear.com.
And they had, I think their quarterback was a guy by the name of like Tony Anderjack or something like that, right? And I mean, we were fucking just myself and Burke Grossman and Tony Saragusa and Carnell Smith. I mean, we were just fucking. Yeah.
Oh my God!
And me and Burke Grossman hit Tony Anderjack on this fucking play, and he heard him wince and cry, and he broke his collarbone. Oh. Right, he broke his collarbone, and so I remember. I'll never forget this. This is 1987. So we go in at halftime, and they're like, okay, he ain't coming back. And they're like, well, who's coming out? And they're like, I got this fucking kid, he likes to, do a bootleg. His name is Tony Rice. Tony Rice, right? And so, first play of the game, he comes in the second half, he runs a bootleg, and we sack them, right? After that, this guy goes down. I think we scored again. It was 28-0. This guy goes and rattles off like fucking 22 points in a row. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget. We made not a goal line stand, but they were on about our 30-yard line on fourth down, and we stopped them. And so the next year, we played them at Pitt again, back to back at Pitt. It was like crazy. Like Lou Holtz wanted to fucking argue with me about this. I seen him recently. I'm like, Lou, listen, fucking, hey, bro, listen, you play this twice.
Did you understand a word he was saying though?
Yeah, I can understand him. You just had to pay close attention, right? So Lou Holtz is like, so they come in. It's 88, and I'm telling you, it's back and forth, and we were in fucking control of this game, twice. We fumbled. Our quarterback, Darnell Dickerson, was going into the end zone. No one around him. And he hits the fucking ball off his knee, and it rolls into the end zone. They get a touchback. That was one touchdown that we lost. And it was like first and goal from the one, and that Chris Zorge dude recovers a fumble on the in the end zone. Yep. And that was otherwise we beat them. And they go on to win the national championship. But this is what I told all these Notre Dame okay, I told him. I said, "Look, and I seen Tony Rice. I don't know if it was at the Sugar Bowl. I mean, whatever. It must have been the Sugar Bowl. It was down there in Georgia. I think it was in Georgia. I hung out with him.
That's the Peach Bowl.
Was it the Peach Bowl this past year?
Right? The Peach Bowl's in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was whatever fucking bowl that was. It was like it wasn't the semifinal game. It was the one before that. Right. We were playing Georgia, so. I'm in this, like, out of nowhere. You're down there in that French, and there's this Irish bar. So, sure, I go in there with my wife, and next thing you know, I'm in there, and I'm in there quite a while. And the guy goes, that's Tony Rice up there. I go, that's Tony Rice up there. I've been wanting to have a conversation. The guy's like, oh, listen, you can't be starting. I go, the way, let me handle this shit, right? So I go down there, and I said, Tony, I'm going to tell you something. You owe me a big and thank you, as well as all your Notre Dame, friends. Now, my son's playing with Notre Dame right now. It's like, well, who are you? I go, I'm Mark Spindler. You remember me in the 1980s? He's like, oh, yeah, Mark. And Michael Stonebreaker was there and shit, right? I go, let me tell you this story. I said, Tony, you never step on the field if myself and Burke Grossman don't knock out Tony Anderjack. And the next thing I know, you not only become the starting quarterback, you lead them to the national championship next year. So by proxy, I want my national championship ring because you never would have stepped foot on the field if it wasn't for me.
Another name drop to Saragusa there. I want my restitution.
Yeah,
from that Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
Goose.
The Goose, God rest his soul, passed away way too young. But he was what you want to talk about a character. Jesus, man. I there's stories I can't even tell on this fucking podcast because he's in heaven. If he was alive, I'd tell them. But I'm going to tell you this motherfucker was gone. He was absolutely gay. He was gone. He was a different dude. But I hung out with him for like my freshman year. Then I then I moved on. But
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
a wild fucking dude.
You played
He
with
was.
some greats. Mark, I was curious. So you talk about your time in Detroit, and then it comes then you move on. You end up in the Big Apple. You play for the Jets.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Jets, Jets, and then the women would go TITS, tits, and they showed their tits. That was probably the best part about it.
Yeah,
Love that.
I mean, you go to Detroit, Motor City, blue collar town. You're going out to New York. What was that transition like?
It was definitely different. I mean, the fans were really passionate. Richie Kotite was definitely a different dude, and and I got a real legendary story here, man. This is real deal. You can Google
Wait,
this.
you
shit.
do? You haven't had one already?
Listen, dude, this is
Double digit.
listen. You're gonna find out, man. This is a fucking mic drop. So, the first year, and I think this happened in the second year. The first year we go. No, it happened in the first year. It happened my first year there. So I go there. I actually got traded from Tampa Bay over there. And that, I can tell a story. You can't. The reason why I got traded from Tampa Bay was a guy who I played against when I was with the Lions. He was a big tackle from Tennessee. You have to research this. I can't think of his fucking name. Played tackle for Tennessee. Charles McCray, I think his name was. That's who it was. And I used to make him my bitch for 4 years with the Lions. He was a pussy, okay? I mean, made him a bitch, okay? I looked great, like a superstar. Yeah. So now I go down there, and he fucking must have forgot or some shit. Maybe I'm in his home gym or some shit. He fucking must have forgot who I was. So, you would talk about a miserable place was Tampa, right? I mean, fucking miserable back in the day. So make a long story short, it's getting longer and longer in training camp, and I'm like sniffing that, I'm not going to be around or going to trade me or shit. And it's like fucking 150 degrees down there, shitty ass facilities. I'm like terrible culture.
Uniforms.
And I'll never forget. Listen, this this dude comes up and he hits me from in behind or some shit, and then he goes to jog back to the huddle like he thinks like this is over, right? Now, listen, dude, it was like the Terminator. Boom. And once you set for termination, bro, you cannot reason with the Terminator, dude. I took off full speed, and I took my forearm when he was back was to me, and I hit him with a forearm in the back of the neck, and he went flying down on the ground. I rolled him over. I got him by his face, and I was choking him, and I was like, you motherfucker. Like I was trying to kill him, like you don't remember me, like tried to treat me like a bitch. Right. Sam Weiss broke that shit up, man, and I'll tell you right now, dude, he went wild. He couldn't even talk. He's like, what did you do? You could have made him bite his tongue off. You could have killed. You could have did this. You could have did this. I was like, you know what, Sam? Like, get me the fuck out of here. And sure as shit, the next day, I swear to God, it was the next day, I got a phone call, and it was Sam. He goes, hey, Mark, I just want to let you know we traded you to the New York Jets. And I go, he's like, we got you a ticket, this, that, and the other thing. I go, don't worry, Sam, I'll be right. He's no, you don't have to come in. You don't have to come in. I go, no, I'm coming in. I walked in there, and I shook his hand like a man, and I was like, thank you. He's like, thank me for what? I go, thank you for getting me the out of this shithole. And I grabbed my shoulder pads and I left, and I got on an airplane and flew over to New York, right? Yeah. So now as I'm going to New York, Tom Condon was my agent. And then look at, I had a reputation of being a fucking really tough guy. And I was one of Tom's guys, right? I mean, really tough dude, right? So I land, and he calls me on the phone. He's like, look, I just want to let you know something. You need to be careful, okay? I'm like, why? He's like, they got this rookie. His name is Matt O'Dwyer. He's this big Irish kid from Northwestern. And I'm telling you, Mark, he's been beating the shit out of all the veterans in practice, like fist fight-wise. And he's like, I'm just telling you, I know one time, now I'm like 7, 8 years in this shit, right? And I'm like, is this motherfucker like questioning me? Or is he trying to rile me up? And it was just stuck in my fucking head. So I meet Matt O'Dwyer, befriend him, great guy, right? Single guy. I got 2 kids. He come over. So week 7, week 8, week 9, we're just terrible football game, right? Terrible football. And it was Thanksgiving morning. Swear to God, Thanksgiving morning. We're best friends. And he must have been out all night long drinking and shit. And let me tell you, I went full speed no matter what. All the time. I went full speed. And Neil O'Donnell used to, like, he'd be like, set, ready, and when he's ready to snap the ball, he'd squeeze his toes. He'd squeeze his toes into the ground. So when he'd squeeze his toes, if you went on that, you didn't never jumped off sides, but you actually moved before the offensive lineman moved. And so, he must have been hungover and shit. And next thing you know, he grabbed me by the jersey and gave me a little shove, like, to my neck. And I'm like, did that guy just fucking do that to me? This is my buddy, right? It must have been a mistake. And then he did it again. I mean, like, really hard, and it was noticeable this time. I went back, and this is exactly what I said. I went back to the huddle, and I looked up, and they're calling the fucking defense. And I went, this mother wants a shot at the title. That's exactly what I said. I said, this mother wants a shot at the title. And I said, look, as soon as the ball snaps, I grabbed him by his face mask, and like, he can tell that I was like trying to start a fight with him. And he just like started to fucking like laugh. Dude, are you serious? Like, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. And I'll never forget this, dude. He fucking grabbed a hold of me, and he kind of for a second started to manhandle me to where my adrenaline kicked in. And as he pushed into me, man, I wrestled my whole life. I grabbed him by his face mask. I gave him an underhook, and I flipped him over my back. And as he was going through the air, I ripped his helmet off his head. I switched hands from left-handed to right-handed, and when he hit the ground, I was like 3/4 of the way. I swung that helmet as hard as I can fucking swing it, and I hit him right between the eyes.
Oh, shit.
Honest to God. I mean, as hard as I can swing that helmet, I hit him right between the eyes. And now, dude, this is like a fucking ball. I wasn't done.
Right.
I wasn't done. I was just getting started. Then I jumped on him because I knew I only had like seconds, because that offensive line, like, the offensive lineman is like a pack. Like, the defensive line sees a fight, they fucking leave. Dude, I jumped on him. I start punching him in his face, and they ripped me off him and shit. And then Brad Baxter was standing next to Richie Kolkite, and afterwards he told me, he's like, Brad, he's like, did Spindler just hit O'Dwyer in the head with a helmet? He's like, yep. He's like, Brad, did he hit O'Dwyer in the head with his own helmet? He's like, yep. He's like, but I knew I was in trouble, so I called the whole team up and I apologized. Like something told me, like, you better do something here or you're gone.
Right.
And so look at, and by the way, I had not been starting. They were like I had not been starting. The next week I started. Richie Kolkite's giving this motivational speech, and he used to be a Golden Gloves boxer, and he's like, and he's like, and you tell them, Spindler, the most important punch of the fight is the first fucking one. I'm like, that's right, coach. And so I started the next 2 years. We were 3-13 and 1-15. Fucking awful. Great sandwiches, great subs, great fucking pizza, terrible football.
Yeah, get me back to Detroit. Did you call up your agent and like, all right, let's get him on the phone, let's make a deal, get me out of here, kind of thing?
Oh no! So it's coming into my third year or my second year. After my second year, I have to have shoulder surgery, right? I have my shoulder surgery, right? And I'll tell you, listen, I get my shoulder operated on. I have to go back there to get it done. I just had a surgery, and they're like, Bill Belichick's the new head coach. You know, he'd like to meet you. And so I went up there, and I was like, still like groggy and shit. And I shook his hand. I was like, Coach Belichick, this and that, really nice to meet you and shit like that. And then I went fucking home, and this cut me. He cut me like the next fucking day. He cut me the next day, and right, and then so then I go on and on. I signed with Seattle. Got traded to like the Bears. Man, I got a lot of shit that I can't even remember. Got traded to the fucking Bears. Dave wants to the pit, man. Yeah. He fucking shoved it up my ass for that number 50 from Notre Dame, Chris Zorge, because he had a broken thumb back then. You couldn't cut guys when they were fucking hurt and shit like that. So he had to cut me. And then he cuts me. As soon as he cuts me, I could have signed with the Lions in between too. And I told Kevin Colbert, I go, you know what? You guys had a chance. I told him, I didn't say fuck you, but I said, you know what, Kevin? You had a chance. I'm going to play for the Bears. I always want to play for the Bears. I'm going to play for the Bears. Then the Bears cut me. Kevin Colbert called me like within 20 minutes. He goes, are you ready to come back home? Yeah. I go, yeah. Listen, this is and Rick Spielman was like, you know, I don't know if he's the general manager of the Bears, but the player personnel guy then. I signed with the Lions within like 10 minutes. 30 minutes later, Dave Wanstead calls me back and goes, this is going to lead to a great story. Dave Wanstead calls me back and he goes, hey, we made a big mistake. We want to sign you back. I said, you know what, Dave? I said, I already signed with the Lions. I'll see you twice this year. I can't wait. And I'll never forget. This is true. We go over there and we play them. Can't remember what it was like, cold out and shit. And I'll never forget. This is just a part of the game. I don't know if we're winning or losing. It was 4th and 1. 4th and 1, and Wanstead calls a timeout, and he's thinking about going for it. Right? I walked right over to the sideline. I looked right at him. I said, "Run the ball right at me. Run it right at me." This mother sends the offense back on the field, and I don't know. I got a good read, a good snap. I hit the fucking center. The center hit the quarterback. The ball went flying through the air. We recovered it, but it was already 4th down anyway. Yeah. I jumped up. I went right over to the fucking Wanstead. I was going,
discount double check,
motherfucker. I was so mad at him that he fucking come. He's a pit man, and he cut me, motherfucker.
Right, that'll show you.
Should have cut a kicker.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah, should have. But anyway, that's my story.
Well, I think it's great, Mark, that you made your way back to Detroit. You talk about your family, and I think every person we talk to, Dale LaFleur was from here, but a lot of the guys aren't, and they stay here. You just see it time and time again. So what was it about the Detroit, Metro Detroit, that kept you here? Michigan, you talk about getting up in a tree stand.
Real fucking simple. 5'7", about 135 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, beautiful white teeth, named Rochelle Bianchetti, a fucking Italian stallion. That's what made me stay here. Let me tell you something, brother. Yeah. I got one whiff of that shit and I wasn't fucking leaving. But outside of, I mean, that's the truth too. I fell in love with her that quick, right? But outside of that, I just I'll never forget. Grew up hunting, fishing, all that kind of shit. And one day I was just watching TV, and this guy, Rob Trott from Great Lakes Outdoor, was doing this like big buck night. I fucking was seeing deer with horns. They look like fucking like moose and shit. And I'm like, what is this shit? I'm looking at Pennsylvania, little freaking spike horn bucks. You'd be excited. I'm like, holy shit. I found this guy, called him up, told him where I was. He got me set up with a bow and arrow, and I was hook, line, and sinker forever. Bought a farm up there and call it Davison, Otisville. I bought that in 94, and and that's what I was doing earlier today. Matter of fact, I drove from there over here, changed my clothes on the way. I was getting my last of my fall food plots in, but so it's just I love the seasons. I just love where I live. I love my farm. I mean, I'm not this social that goes out, and hangs out, a ton. But when I do, I have fun and raised my kids here. I would not have raised my kids here if I didn't love the schools. I love the Clarkson School District. I love, I just, everything just checked the boxes off for me from day one. But I'm going to tell you what really checked it off. 5'7", about 128, is beautiful. Oh my God. And she's like, look at, they talk about fine wine. It just gets better with time. And you talk to anybody. My wife would be so appalled right now. She sees this shit. But let me tell you, she is better looking today than she was even then. Like, you get one fucking shot, man. You got to pick the right motherfucker. And I picked the right one. I'm going to tell you this right now. Look, I'll show you fucking wedding pictures when I'm done. You're going to go, that son bitch, man. I tell you what.
Put that in our show notes.
You're like, fuck, look at that fucking guy. I was a looker too, man. But that's why my wife and her family was here. And so we just made it home.
Yeah. Love that.
So you talked about Clarkston, and the disappointing thing for me on your 3-2 game, I would have been there that day. Michigan played Ohio State, and my buddy had tickets at the hey, you want to go to the game? Michigan, Ohio State. Obviously, Michigan lost, and I was at the stadium. The signal was terrible, and that is my favorite weekend of the year. The MHSAA. I always love, we're Goodrich Division IV. We just won the state championship. So as I'm coming out of the big house, my phone says 3-2. And I'm like, there's no way it's 3-2. And it's sure enough beat West Bloomfield 3-2 to win the state championship.
Yeah, listen,
tell me about that.
Listen, I can tell you to this day, it's like I said, we're going to have this throwback tailgate across the street. We did this for 4 years. Some of the greatest, most purest form of football. I just love it, to death. I think high school football is fucking great, right? And look, at that year was a magical year. My son was a freshman. He started both ways. on the state championship, and they got the shit kicked out of them early in the year by West Bloomfield. And so now they go on this magical run, and they get back to the state championship, and you're thinking like, wow, I mean, big underdog playing against this powerhouse with all these athletes and stuff. And, and I said, as we're watching this game, we kicked field goal right before halftime, and then we also snapped the ball at the end zone. So it's like 3-2, and with about, it might have been late in the third quarter. They had me go down on the sideline to do an interview, right? And I'm doing an interview, and they're like, "Well, what do you think's going to happen?" I go, "Look, it's going to come down to athletes versus discipline." And I said, I think I'm going to take the more disciplined team, and sure enough, the more disciplined team, rose to the occasion. And I'll never forget. I mean, you want to talk about, you're sitting there, and there's like less than about a minute 30 to go in the game, and I'm on the sideline, I'm watching it, you're doing all this shit, and sure as their quarterback overthrows the receiver, our guy intercepts the ball, and I have some legendary photos that people fucking took. I don't even got it. My arms are up. I fucking, I was on the field sprinting around like I was a coach and shit. It was, and I got great video of my son and telling him how much I loved him. And,
great.
I mean, but it was outstanding. But then the following year, you get back to the state championship, and a couple things went wrong early in the game. You get back in the game, and the fucking last play of the fucking game, like Friday Night Lights or last of the Titan, one of them game, you go for 2 and
2-point
ran a
conversion.
shitty ass play, Kurt. I don't give a shit what you say. It was a shitty ass play. Man, this quarterback was lights out for us. He was playing good. Should just put the ball in his hands, give him a run pass fucking option, and he would have had a great chance of scoring. They stopped us, and that was it. And 1 for 2 to win the fucker, and didn't get it done.
Yeah, it would have been back.
So, but it was look at some of the best football times I've ever had was during the high school. That's why we're doing this throwback.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's awesome.
All right, well, here we're gonna.
we
we
got
got
Phil wants to join.
Yeah, we got to get Phil.
Let's go, Bill.
Phil's my
Phil.
co-host on a Great Story podcast.
No, he's Bill. Yeah,
He's Bill or Phil?
Wild
His real
Phil.
name's Phil, but Bill works.
Well,
We got the
pleasure to
Green
meet
Goblin in here now.
you. Yeah, here we go. All decked out in my ally stuff. Now all eyes on me. I've been sitting there listening, and it has been an absolute joy to listen to these stories. So thank you for coming in tonight.
All 100% true. I can tell you. I don't even embellish.
I'm a little salty. Chad took my question to ask what kept you in the Oakland County area, because I'm a Waterford guy. So
Yeah.
we're right near
We
each
love the
other.
community well people.
Yeah, especially we're Oakland County guys. These guys are Genesee. It's a little bit
we're-
different.
Listen, I can tell you.
He's Genesee too half the time.
My stomping grounds. I used to be over there at Cafe Max and Club Rio Day.
Club
That's where I met
Rio
That's
Day.
where I met my wife. Club Rio Day.
No kidding.
I did.
Yeah, Cafe Max.
I
Is
did.
A lot of stories out of that
Oh,
place.
bro, let me tell you something off the air. I mean,
Okay.
let me tell
All
you.
right.
That's where I met my
We'll
wife.
share
Club
some.
Rio Day, Cafe Max. Man, what a great place. Jesus,
That's great.
these guys don't even know what we're talking about.
No,
No,
they don't.
I'm probably too young.
Oh,
Yeah,
here
you
we
are.
go.
Yeah.
we got the old man
Legendary
jokes.
airport bar in Waterford. That's all I can tell you.
Love it. All right.
It's long since been torn down. But, again, second string comes in. I don't want to jump on anybody's thing, but you talked about 1991 earlier.
Yep.
And what a ride that was for all of us, and I imagine for you as well. I was in the building for that comeback win against the Vikings.
Yep.
Holy shit. I mean, I got chills talking about it. The things you guys
Absolutely. I
did
think we
that
scored
today.
like 21 points in like 7-8 minutes. It was something that was incredible. I mean, a good friend of mine that passed away, his name was Don Nick. He was up in the stands, and I remember, all the people were just leaving. I mean, they were just. I mean, the stadium almost was cleared out, and Don Nick was sitting there going, focus, fans, focus. I mean, he was like trying to lead a chant and stuff like that. One thing led to another, and then I think it was that legendary play where I think Barry went like this, that, like he always did, and I think he like broke like Joey Browner's leg or something. Like it was like some crazy shit happened. But yeah, that was a big win. I remember that very well.
Yeah, I'll tell you another story off air about our drive to the game. We almost turned around and went back home, and thank God we didn't.
Yeah, you
because
would have missed a good one.
We would have missed a good one. But I like to strip back the layers a little bit and get into the human element. Obviously, we talked about your son and
Yep.
being from Scranton and things like that. All right, born and raised in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Steelers or Eagles?
I was a Houston Oilers fan.
No kidding.
Love you, blue. Houston Oilers. Come on, man. Earl Campbell, Bud Phillips. I mean, I love the Houston Oilers. And then it was split between, the family was split between, they loved Harold Carmichael and Ron Jaworski. And that year that they almost had a shot, and I think the Raiders ended up crushing them that year. I remember watching that when I was a kid. But a lot of Eagles fans where I grew up. Still to this day, and now they're really reaping the rewards over there. But I was a Houston Oilers fan, but no longer. I think I was more of an Earl Campbell fan. How can you not be an Earl? You even know who Earl Campbell is?
I know the name, yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
I know the name.
Mercy.
I'm 30. I'm
Have
sorry.
mercy
I'm
on
sorry.
your
I'm
soul,
30.
boy.
Well, isn't it funny how when you're young, you latch onto those? I mean, I had it with the Niners and the Cowboys. Obviously, our roots were still here with the Lions and you guys in that time. But, that is pretty wild to hear. Houston from Pennsylvania.
Yep, and I used to watch the games upstairs, and they were on TV a ton, right? I mean, I don't know why they were there. And legendary games against the Steelers. The one year they got fucked with Mike Renfro, caught the pass in the end zone for a touchdown. And
was that when Billy Sims took out the entire drink table? It wasn't Billy Sims against Earl Campbell. I think I
don't know about that one.
Flipped the table. It just was so pissed off at the end of the game. I'll have to find the video on that one.
All right, so I'm moving on. I'm going to try to get these quick hitters in.
No problem.
So aside from being a dad to your 4 kids,
yep.
What has life been during retirement from football for you? What are you doing these days? Besides baiting the farm,
fishing.
Really good question. I did radio and television for 7 years.
You were great. By the way.
I'm like a guy that is always looking for something bigger, faster, and stronger. I got into the hearing aid business about 15 years ago. And myself and my wife, we now own, I think it's like, close to 100 Miracle Ear locations. So, number one branded hearing aid company. We have a few hundred employees, and it's been really, really good to us. So I mean, full time, all day, every day. I own 50 stores in Chicago, Wisconsin, another. Maybe 50 stores in Maryland and Virginia. So, I'm pretty busy.
Yeah,
I'm pretty busy. Yeah,
little travel.
And now, you do it not only for the money, you get to help people, but the employees. For me, I run this thing just like I tell them from day one. Like, this is what you get. You get a ponytail wearing guy that's going to use sports analogies, these type of things. It's all about the team. Our culture is based on team. Our culture is based on family, and our culture is based on winning, right? But to see, your employees and put them in a position to win, to be able to get a really good bite of the apple, to enjoy things that they never thought they, would be able to do is what really inspires me to continue to keep doing this job over and over and over again.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it's a very classy answer.
Yeah, well, it is the truth. If you talk to our employees, I got to tell you, I think they would say the same thing. Before you go on to the next question, I just got to say this. We talk about, pansy ass, the way football is and shit like this. I'm like looking to fuck around, and all you guys are in fucking fancy fucking socks and no shoes. Like what the f***, man?
I kicked them off at the door.
You got this badass podcast set up with all this cool shit. Yeah, I'm looking at these freaking socks, and I can come up with some.
Yeah, but
some
he's in real estate.
Socks here. You got to get some shots of these socks,
yeah, we'll get
man.
some pictures.
I mean, what the fuck? This is supposed to be a fucking man cave. I mean, I should be wearing that fire fucking hat, but it probably symbolic to someone way greater than me. Okay,
it was my first fire helmet ever.
It was your first fire helmet.
Eldon.
You should be wearing that.
Eldon,
shit.
grab
this
it.
Motherfucker
Eldon,
wears
grab it.
a first fire. He's wearing socks in his house and shit. Like, what the f*** are you guys doing here?
Put it on.
This is crazy. That fucker ain't gonna fit in my head. I don't want to disrespect the badge or the number,
so
but that's
cool.
pretty fucking badass. I've never held a fire hat.
You know what? At least Chad and Brett have solid colored black socks.
There you go.
for the most
That's
part.
fantastic.
Your guys'
we
socks
appreciate
look-
what you do.
They do look
I
a
mean,
little fruity.
seriously, man, this is some like man cave shit down
think
here.
he's got hearts and
I
stripes on.
forbid going for it. Everybody wear your shoes going for it, okay? I mean, what the f*** you
Studio
guys
rules.
doing? I mean, Jesus. You kidding me right
I
now?
love it. Very good observation, Mark.
But continue. Sorry.
All right. Yeah, and I don't want to. If you guys have anything, please jump in. I know you guys had a good run there, and I don't want to, disrupt that
fucking Phil joined in
momentum.
last second over here.
I love it.
I know.
I love it.
And then he notices my socks, and it stirs all the shit up. So
Like, what the f***?
Need to do that when Phil came in, like they did. Was it in Washington where they had all the flames and shit when the guy came out of the bullpen. Did you see that game? The Tigers played out there a couple games ago.
No.
Yeah, it was like the fire going on the scoreboard, the music.
Are you more appreciative of my outfit now?
Yeah, it helps. I got to tell you. I mean, but you're really disrespecting the helmet with those. I want to.
Those are good socks.
I got it. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but I mean, what the fuck? We're not in shoes. I mean, what the fuck? We're in a
I saw too many.
Man cave.
I saw too many shoes at the front door.
Come
so
on,
I just
man.
followed
Look, you got
suit.
fucking besides that Michigan damn thing there. I mean, just hide that shit. But anyway,
hey Mark, I got a question for you. You talk about the guys on the defensive side that you battled with, and you talked about your buddy that you owned. But who was it against that you really like? Oh man, I'm gonna have to think about all the Hall of Fame offensive linemen you faced in your career. Like, who was it that just kind of kept you up at night?
Really fucking quick. Bruce Matthews was a mother, bro. Let me tell you something. You want to talk about a mean, dirty, tough, athletic. I mean, this guy was the real deal. So Bruce Matthews, I mean, he was the real deal. A guy you never look at. I never went over there. I didn't want nothing to do with him. So I made Danny Owens. So when we the one technique and the three technique, I made sure I stayed on the opposite side of Randall McDaniel. That son of a bitch was a man's man. He grabbed a hold of you. You might as well smoke a cigarette. Just have a conversation with him because he didn't let you go until he wanted to let you go. He had hands of steel. I played against some really, really. Come on, Bruce Matthews, Randall McDaniel. I mean, I got lucky and got some of the Bears guys at the end of their career. I got Jackie Slater at the end of his career. I got the best of him, thank God. But if he would have got me in his heyday, I mean, I probably wouldn't be here today.
All right, I want to jump in on that. So the sack that you had that meant the most, like maybe the top-notch quarterback that you got to sack.
I didn't have many, but I'm going to tell you, I sacked Joe Montana. I sacked Dan Marino. I intercepted John Elway. Right? So I would say the Joe Montana, I got a great fucking picture too of it, of helping him up off the fucking ground. And I could have cleaned his clock too. He threw an interception, and I just gave him a little fucking jab, and he kind of fell down on the ground. And I said, you know what? That's because I respect you. I remember I told him that. That's out of fucking respect. So those guys right there were probably the best of the best, right? I mean, Marino was hard to sack, man. I mean, he got rid of the ball fast, really, really fast.
Well, since we're piggybacking on, who the top guys that you were, I got to ask a question about, all right, so you got a little celebrity status when you're a professional athlete. Who was the person that you got to meet because of your status that left you a little bit speechless?
Well, I don't think anybody left me speechless, but I got a great picture with Gene Simmons. God rest his soul, man. Right? I got to meet Gene Simmons down at Metro Music Cafe, another great freaking place. I used to go to all this place, right? Down at
Wyandotte, wasn't it?
No. There was one down there.
Or Royal Oak,
right? Like the original one. So Gene Simmons was pretty cool. Randy Macho Man Savage.
No way.
Listen, I signed autographs with him one day, and this is fucking funny ass story. So these guys are always in character, right? And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, and she grew up like seeing some of this wrestling shit. And I'll never forget this. And this is years ago, man. This is 35 fucking years ago, right? And my wife, he's like, we're just talking a little bit, and my wife, it was my girlfriend at the time. She's like, "Where's Elizabeth?" And his head snapped up. He goes, "Elizabeth? Honey, we've been divorced for years now." I was like, holy fuck. I'm like, did she just ask, "Where's Elizabeth?" Yeah,
we're not together now.
We're not together anymore. Yeah.
And he always had the hands going.
Yeah, he was a fucking cool dude. I'm sure if I racked my brain, I would think about it. But Gene Simmons definitely came to mind really quick.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, he came to mind really quick. Gene, I got a good picture with him too. Really good, but not in makeup. You guys got me here. I'm fucking cramping up and shit. Got any water?
Yeah, there's some.
I got my bottle right over there.
I'll give you mine.
No, I'm good.
I don't have cooties anymore.
Nah. And Mark, you talk about the impact you made. Obviously impact on your son, and just any thoughts of going and coaching and kind of giving what you learned to that next generation of players coming in. I mean, you talk about the Lions and a lot of former players on that staff. You know, any thoughts of going to coaching when you retire?
I would love to have the opportunity to be able to give back, right? I mean, that would be it for me. But if I had the opportunity to give back, it'd either just be at the high school level or a level below that, right? You know, even at the high school level today, you know, we talked earlier, you know, about how difficult and how much the game has changed from the physicality standpoint, right? But it also changed from the mental standpoint as well. And although, you know, look at, you know, I run a massive business, okay? And every single individual has to be managed and spoke to differently. That's what a great coach does. You know, I mean, this might sound like a bad analogy, but, you know, some employees, you got to put your foot up their ass, and some you got to have the choke chain, you got to pull them back, right? And the same thing has to be done with, you know, individual players. You treat everyone the exact same way, you're not going to get the result you're looking for, because some need a lot more discipline.